Huh? Kaboom. Wait, yeah, now for something completely different. This is called Kids Toys Banned for Harming Children. Now, what's funny is when I hovered over these, I have some of these, right? You know, it's not like random toys I've never heard of in my life. So now I wanted to see this. I've also never seen anything from this channel. Apparently, they're pretty popular. They do a lot of different videos about a lot of different things. So I figured we'd try one of their videos today. So yeah, this is called a Visual Venture. Kids Toys Banned for Harming Children. Dun dun dun!
Welcome back. All right, if you're buying a gift for a child this year, you definitely want to hear this.
About 206,000 children in the United States were treated for toy-related injuries in 2021.
One says
Really?
the toy just suddenly started.
I wonder what that compares to like previous years, right? Like that sounds like a lot, but I don't know how different it is from like an average, right?
Verdict is
Any
left
other year?
wondering how safe her children's Fisher-Price toys really are.
Bro,
Kids'
I
toys
wonder how
are a
many.
multi-billion-dollar industry, and
I really wonder how many of these toys I had.
it's no surprise because parents love seeing their kids have fun. In 2023 alone, Americans spent $28 billion on toys. But sometimes the toys meant to make kids happy end up putting them in the hospital. Every 3 minutes, one child is treated in a US emergency room for a toy-related injury.
That's insane. What the? What are they doing? I never, man, am I an anomaly, chat? Did you guys ever, okay. Did you guys ever go to the hospital when you were little for a toy-related injury? I gotta know.
Rank dangerous kids' toys that got banned, starting from minor injuries to serious consequences. My name is Visual Venture. I want to thank you guys for supporting. It means the world. The Gilbert Atomic Energy Lab. In 1950, a mysterious red box showed up in toy stores across America.
What is this? The 1950s, you just got an atomic energy lab in a box. Oh,
It's like a lovely little red paper suitcase with snake skin, it's not snake skin, on the outside of the box.
It was a new
What
toy,
is
the Gilbert
this?
U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. The science kit lets kids conduct experiments, mix chemicals, and have fun while learning. There was just
dang, if I could go back in time in a time machine, I'd give me one of these.
one problem. The science kit contained radioactive materials.
What's wrong with that? What do you mean? I feel like this is only a bonus, you know?
Kind used in nuclear bombs.
It's because it comes with 3 sources of radiation and
That's pretty lit, you know? Well, literally.
4 uranium ores that are also radioactive.
So who thought it was a good idea to put radioactive materials in a toy? The man behind the Gilbert Atomic Energy Kit was Alfred Carlton Gilbert.
This guy literally looks like somebody who would be like responsible like in an alchemical lab, doesn't he? He looks like somebody who would invent some like explosive things that didn't exist before.
Famous toy inventor.
We live in an age of science. This year at Gilbert, we present the finest toy line in our history.
By 1950, people were very interested in atomic energy. World War II just ended, the first atomic bomb had been dropped, and nations were
And they were like, let's make a kid's toy. Let's capitalize on this.
scrambling to build nuclear weapons. Gilbert believed this was the perfect time for an educational toy that taught kids about atomic energy. The toy was marketed to parents as a way to direct their children toward a potential career in science and engineering. It could
Oh my god, that would be like if a huge like fire happened and everyone knew about it and they were like, let's have a Lego kit where it looked, you know, where it looks like the houses are burning down.
contained a cloud chamber, an electroscope, as well as other devices and chemicals that let kids measure radioactivity. Even though Gilbert promised the toy was safe, one part of the kit was more dangerous than parents thought. The kit came with 4 small jars of real uranium. This uranium
Oh my god. Man, the 50s was different. Like, was this something that you could not get anywhere easily? Except, like, you could just get this randomly in a toys kit? Like, that's so...
released as much radiation as UV rays from the sun.
It really did emit very, very low amounts of radiation, but I probably would not encourage children to hold these samples.
I really wonder what it compared to everything else around that time, right? Because, like, it seemed like there was, like... Well, obviously not just seemed like there was a lot less regulations overall at that time.
Next to their body all day long.
Long-term exposure to radiation is very dangerous, and the kit contained U-238 uranium isotope, which has been linked to many serious diseases, including cancer. The instructions in the kit warn kids not to open the jars containing uranium because they tend to flake and crumble, and you would run the risk of having radioactive ore spread out in your laboratory.
How did this guy just have the ability to, like, put this in kids' toy kits? Like, who was just hanging out, having lots of radioactive substance just ready to put in tons of kids' toy kits?
Luckily, this dangerous toy never caught on. At a price tag of $50, which is around $650 today, the Gilbert Atomic Kit was too expensive for most parents.
Oh my god! That's so pricey for back then. Wow! So only the rich kids got to play with uranium.
And they sold poorly. And the reason for that is not because of any radioactivity concerns, but rather because it was expensive. It was $50.
In 1951, the kits were completely banned from stores barely a year after they were released. Luckily, the Atomic Kit only sold a few units before it was removed, but our next toy sold millions before anyone realized how dangerous it was.
I was gonna say it's cheap for radioactive material, but, well, I don't actually know. Actually, to be fair, I you know, it's not like I really look for radioactive material on the market and know how much that would even be. But it probably was less back then if they had less restrictions, I can imagine, right? I don't know.
Slap bracelets. When we think of dangerous toys, we picture those with lots of moving pieces and electrical parts. However, the simplest toys are sometimes the most dangerous.
Yep.
We used to have these in the olden days. They were called slap bracelets.
I feel like a lot of people know what these are, though, because they were just everywhere, right? They were kind of like, you know, how fidget spinners were everywhere. And even when, like, they were an outdated toy, they were still in some places, like, on shelves. I feel like even like, if they were not even popular, like, a lot of people still know what this is, right? What was that laugh, man?
In the summer of 1990, slap
Beavis and Butthead laugh.
bracelets were released in the US and sales went through the roof. In just 3 months, Main Street Toys sold 1 million of the bracelets for $2.50 each and had orders of 5 million more.
Silly bands were gonna happen after that. You know, it was all about these toys that didn't cost much to make, but everyone had one type of thing.
Bracelets were part toy and part fashion statement. Kids were addicted to snapping the bracelet over their wrist and molding it flat again. In 1990,
Bro, it was literally a fidget toy before people knew what a fidget toy was. That's what this is, right?
after the original slap wraps came out, a bunch of knockoffs appeared on the market. But the companies that made these fake bracelets would do anything to make a quick buck, even putting people in danger. The original
Also, did you guys use these correctly or did you guys not? Because I knew a person that was definitely not me that you know, used this as a toy sword of sorts. You know, definitely could not be me, but you know, sometimes my friends' wrists were barren. You know, without a slap bracelet, their wrists were just sitting there, you know, unclaimed by a bracelet. And I was like, you know what, you could use hiya!
Original slap wraps used high-grade quality steel with rounded edges and a double-knit fabric. But the knockoffs, which were coming from Asia, were made of cheaper fabric and low-grade steel with sharp edges that could rust through the fabric. If the cover tore and the metal band was exposed...
Oh, there we go. So, you know what's funny about this is these were already cheap, right? I get wanting, like, you know, if you think things are cheap now, I think this is so silly. These were already probably making tons of money, even if you made off-brand ones. If you just took the same material, you could probably make a profit around that time. But they had to go and use, like, even cheaper material that was unsafe. That makes a lot of sense. So it wasn't the original, like, slap bracelets being the problem. It was the people that were, like, making the off-brand of it.
That could cause injuries like cuts and scrapes when slapped onto a wrist. Unfortunately, the copycats didn't care about safety. Soon, the market was flooded with poorly made knockoff slap bracelets, and it was only a matter of time before people started getting hurt. First, 4-year-old Nicole Tomaso of Wallingford, Connecticut cut her finger on the sharp metal inside a cheap imitation slap bracelet. Then, a student in an elementary school in New York needed 3 stitches in her hand after she was cut with an exposed bracelet edge.
Man.
So many injuries injuries were reported within 1 month that the Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a press release warning that slap bracelets posed a cutting hazard. To make matters worse, students
They really don't, though. It's just these ones, right?
weren't just snapping it around their hands. They were snapping the bracelets around their ankles, necks, and places with prominent veins. It was estimated that 10 to 15 million counterfeit bracelets were sold.
No freaking
There's no way that's a tape measure.
Oh,
This
what?
is insane.
Are you kidding me?
Is that real? I could see this being real, and on the other hand, I could see it being fake, because if it's real, it's because they saved money doing that. And if it's fake, then the TikTok account got a lot of clout for doing that and figuring that out when nobody else did. So now I'm just kind of like, it's real? Oh, okay.
Stop!
The only way to prevent more injuries was to stop kids from using them. But
I would imagine it'd be extremely easy to prove if it was real, because there would be several other ones.
how? Slap bracelets were banned in schools in New York, Pennsylvania,
Really?
and Connecticut.
Nearly 80,000 bracelets for kids are being recalled. They are Trolls slap band bracelets, and the danger is that
Oh
children have
no,
been cut
they're trolling the slap bracelets.
by the metal covering.
The make
What a brand. It would be the Trolls ones.
makers of the original
It had
slap
to be
wrap
that
Main
one.
Street toys were hit the hardest because they sold only 1 million slap wraps, which was far less than the 15 million knockoffs. This next toy was so dangerous it was recalled, destroyed, and never made again. Cabbage Patch Snack Time dolls. In the early
Oh.
80s, the Cabbage Patch doll was the hottest toy in America.
Really? I think my mom might have had one of these.
Each one of a kind, they're Cabbage Patch Kids. You can give them all your love.
These
They
dolls
reminded me of puppets. Is that weird? I hate them. I think the reason they're uncanny is because they look like puppets or like Muppets more than they look like a doll.
were so popular, they set every toy industry sales record for 3 years running. Riots would break out in stores when there weren't enough Cabbage Patch
Oh my lord! Look at all these middle-aged mobs.
dolls. One
They're
desperate
losing their
store
mind.
manager in Pennsylvania used a baseball bat to protect himself from the mob trying to snatch up Cabbage
The
Patch.
baseball bat. Oh, there's zombies. Middle-aged mom zombies trying to get their sweet fix of Cabbage Patch dolls. Back up, women. Back up.
Patch Kids dolls.
Welcome to another holiday shopping season. When the doors opened at this Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania store, the pushing and shoving began. One woman was knocked to the floor and suffered a broken leg.
Sometimes things got so chaotic that the police had to come and disperse the crowds.
This poor guy, he's like, why am I here? I was thinking I was gonna like break up some like actual like, high level crime. Here I am telling middle-aged mobs to wait their turn at the grocery store for the next 5 hours.
At its peak in 1984 and
Oh,
1985,
no.
sales of the dolls exceeded $500 million annually. However, as the 80s ended, the demand for Cabbage Patch dolls fell. Everyone thought the glory days of the Cabbage Patch
Wow.
doll were over. Until
Holy crap.
Mattel purchased the rights to the dolls in 1994.
Oh,
Mattel
Mattel makes Barbie and stuff, or sorry, it doesn't make them, I guess, has the rights to Barbie and Hot Wheels, right? Yeah, there it is, Barbie and Hot Wheels. They have a bunch of other stuff too, like Disney Princess and
rights
whatever.
to the dolls in 1994. Mattel launched a new doll called Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. Why is the sock puppet woman eating food now? Please stop.
Snack Time Kids. The company believed this new doll would bring back the excitement of owning a Cabbage Patch doll. Little did they know, the Cabbage Patch Snack Time doll was only going to make things worse.
She hungers. All she wishes to do is consume. What are these? Carrot sticks?
The Snack Time doll looked like most other Cabbage Patch dolls, but it had one
Consume.
huge difference. This doll could eat.
Consume! Where is it gonna go? Is she gonna poop it out? Listen, I ask this because there unironically has been dolls since then who have, drank things and ate things and put them out the other end, which I thought was pretty much nightmare fuel.
It's all gone.
And now I blame this abomination. I blame this abomination as the starting point for that idea.
The Snack Time doll came with several plastic snacks, like a carrot, celery, and french fry. To play with the doll, the child would put the snack in the doll's mouth. Then a motor would slide the snack into the doll's mouth as if it were really eating. The toy
Oh man, it uses a motor, chat, so the second it gets stuck, it's gonna make the sound of like a car that needs a jump.
It was a success. By the end of the year, over $500,000
I really
want to
hear
Mattel
what
planned
happens
to
if
launch
it
more
fails.
dolls with new features, but then they got shocking news. The Snack Time doll just tried to eat a child.
The Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kids doll is
All right, that's not what I was expecting, but let's go.
designed to chew automatically when fed plastic French fries. Well, this particular doll began munching on 7-year-old Sarah Stevens' hair right up to the scalp.
Bro, put her in prison. Take that Cabbage Patch and lock him up.
The Snack Time doll had rollers in its mouth that would pull in plastic food. The rollers would keep moving if they sensed anything entering the doll's mouth, regardless of what it was. This
Oh my god. She does not care what it is. All she does is consume. She hungers for cannibalism.
meant that if a child's hair or fingers got caught in the doll's mouth, the rollers would pull them in and start chewing. By the end of 1996, there were 100 reports of children getting their hair and fingers caught in.
There is a hazard sign for machinery that says this machine does not know the difference between flesh and metal.
Really? Is there really? I mean, yeah, if you think about it, it does not really work like a toy. It works like machinery. She's basically like a paper shredder on the inside of a doll, you know?
In the doll's mouths. In one instance, a family had to call 911 to dismantle a doll because their 7-year-old daughter's hair got stuck in the Snack Time doll's mouth and they couldn't free it. It took
The doll must consume.
It really is. It's like the doll must consume. What kills me is the way that they said it in the article is like the doll couldn't help herself. She just started consuming the child.
3 people over 30 minutes to dislodge the toy from the girl's hair. The
Not that it was probably on purpose or okay, by the way. This is a child, all right? But
media picked up the story and parents
she
started
wanted to be a real girl, chat. No.
calling the Snack Time dolls the dolls from hell. The bad publicity was hurting Mattel's brand. The Product Safety Commission launched an investigation and Mattel needed to act fast before anyone else got hurt. So in January 1997, Mattel took the Snack Time dolls off the market and offered a $40 refund to anyone who purchased one.
What is that sitting T-pose? What is that stance? You can tell by her stance she's not messing around.
$40 refund to anyone who
Oh my
purchased one.
God.
That $40 refund cost Mattel millions of dollars because they already sold around 500,000 by the time they realized the problem.
Oh,
but that wasn't the
no.
only time relaunching an old toy caused trouble. This next toy's return triggered a government intervention. The
What
Easy
in
Bake
the-
Oven. The Easy Bake Oven was
I
first
had one of these. Well, I didn't have one, but I had friends who had one. Like, I saw these all over the place. I never heard that they had, like, any issues with them.
released in 1963 by a company called Kenner Products.
Easy bake, fast as you can. Mix 'em up, pour 'em in the pan.
Wow, I don't even know if the one I saw was Easy Bake or some type of, like, knockoff of that.
Slide 'em in, let 'em bake now.
I didn't
Slide 'em
realize they
in, slide 'em
existed.
out.
All the way back in, like, the 1960s. That's insane.
Easy bake, wow.
Kids could
Wow.
bake small cakes and cookies in the miniature oven just like a grown-up. Little girls loved it so much that Kenner sold 500,000 Easy Bake Ovens in the first year of production. In 1991,
That's a lot.
Hasbro, another big toy company, bought Kenner Products and decided to design a new and improved version of the oven. However, Hasbro ended up creating something that sent hundreds of people to the emergency room. In 2006, a new version of the Easy Bake Oven hit stores.
Did they make it cheaper again? Is this the whole reason? Because it looks like the original had no issues.
This one was a purple and pink plastic oven with 4 burners on the top and a front-loading oven. The oven had a small opening where children would slide food in to bake. Sometimes kids would accidentally stick their fingers too far inside and get them trapped in the front opening. After the release of the new model in May 2006, Hasbro received reports of 29 children getting their fingers or hands caught in the front-loading door.
Oh my
5-year-old Sophia Justice is not happy because these firefighters are trying to remove an Easy Bake Oven that is stuck on her hand.
Oh my
The fingers getting
goodness.
stuck was only half the problem. The
They're trying to eat the children, all of them.
oven also had 4 metal plates which could get really hot.
Yeah, like this is the other thing, right? Is that like the old one that they designed, if you look at it, it's like they were really, I don't think like everything they did involved like sliding a tray in like where you could not get your fingers, it looks like. Like the way that they did this was very like intentionally not having anything like warm where it could touch your fingers, like the first ones. I know, there's a common theme with these old toys and their desire to consume children, you know? They thought they were, you know, cooking the food, but the oven was cooking them instead.
It's like a great little hand warmer. Oh, and it warms up my face. Hot oven top. Do not touch. Do not try this at home.
This made it easy for kids to get burned if they touched it while hot. As months passed, reports of people getting hurt by the oven increased. At this point, Hasbro should have recalled the product, but instead they offered a free repair kit to improve the oven's safety.
Hey God, we'll offer you something else that you have to pay for in order to help you not get hurt, because refunds would mean we would not make any money.
Repair kit was a special plastic grate designed to cover the oven's front opening so kids couldn't stick their fingers inside.
Here, have this handy dandy cover of, you know, don't burn child's fingers off for only $9.99.
However, kids still lifted the flap to put their fingers in.
What do you want to do with that flap?
Well, yeah, because the whole thing is it's supposed to be used for something, right? Like, the kid knows that. Its design is, like, made to be like, hey, you're supposed to put something in the oven.
The injuries continued. There were 249 additional reports of kids getting their hands or fingers stuck and 77 reports of burns. In 2007, the parents of a Mississippi girl sued Hasbro for $1.2 million after their daughter got her hand stuck in the oven for more than 3 hours.
Whoa! How did this happen? Oh my God! The emergency room doctors forced to cut the device off with a bone saw. Oh my Lord.
Her parents couldn't get the toy off. They rushed her to the hospital where emergency room doctors were forced to cut the device off with a bone saw. Parents all over the country were mad and accused Hasbro of recklessly allowing a dangerous product to stay on the market. Eventually, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the toy. And in July 2007, facing criticism, injuries, and lawsuits, Hasbro recalled about 1 million Easy Bake ovens.
It's so bad that they waited this long. They were like, ah, dang it. A girl had to, you know, have her entire arm cut off. I guess we gotta recall them, boys. Dang it.
Even though the 2006 Easy Bake Oven was never made again, this next toy caused just as much panic that same year. Polly Pocket.
Really? Polly Pockets? Oh my gosh. I played with these with friends all the time. They had the weird plastic clothing, so if you tried to, like, change what they were in, unlike Barbie, okay, you like, I swear, it was like fighting. It was like fighting, because they were made, like, all their clothes were made of rubber.
I'm Polly Pocket. You can open up your case, there's a world for you. So many fun places you'll have lots to do.
I'll be honest, they ticked me off so bad. When I tried to play with these at, like, a friend's house, I was like, they make me so mad. That their clothing is so hard to change and they're just made of rubber. I just want to throw them across the room. I don't have the patience.
In 1989, Bluebird Toys introduced Polly Pocket, which were plastic cases that unfolded into doll houses. Inside were tiny dolls less than an inch tall that could stand up in different areas of the dollhouse.
I don't even hardly remember what these looked like. I just remember some friend had these.
1994, Polly Pocket was one of the best-selling toys for girls between 3 and 8.
Wow.
And in 1995 alone, Bluebird Toys sold $139 million worth of Polly Pockets.
That's
but 2 years
crazy.
later, sales started to wane. Kids stopped buying them, but not all hope was lost.
You had one too, Muke? Apparently these are dangerous. I don't know. I never knew anybody who got hurt by these. It's crazy how many of these toys I'm aware of. Like, that people had, right? It's crazy. Anyways, Polly Pockets.
1998, Mattel bought the Polly Pocket brand and redesigned the entire Polly Pocket line. Mattel also introduced a new magnet-based clothing line to help make dressing the Polly Pocket dolls easier for
Oh my God, that's so funny. So this problem that I said was frustrating about them, apparently they tried to innovate on them with magnets. The whatever friend of mine had these, they did not have any type of magnet clothing. They just were rubber clothes that you had to struggle to put over their tiny little arms. Like,
children. They called it Quick Click.
For Quick Click fashion, it's totally wild. Elevator down. Hey, a new outfit. Change the color. A Quick Click.
They gave the dolls magnetic hands and feet, so Polly was able to better attach or stand in the dollhouse.
Yeah, I don't remember that, man.
Of parents bought the Quick Click Polly Pocket for their kids. And at first, everything was fine.
Polly was going places, man. Polly had technology.
But then the tiny magnets in the doll's hands, feet, and accessories began to fall off. Some kids ended up playing with these tiny magnets and accidentally swallowing them, which could cause choking. But the danger—
Oh my god, don't eat Polly.
increased if more than one
Oh no,
magnet
I can't attach Polly's arms and legs. Guess I should eat them.
was swallowed, because multiple magnets could stick together inside their stomach, causing serious complications.
Oh no, what? I thought they said the magnets lost their stick. Hold on.
Then the tiny magnets in the doll's hands, feet, and accessories began to fall off. Some kids
Well,
ended
I
up
guess the difference, right, is Polly Pockets were always small, but they never had pieces of, like, her that could be detached, so they weren't that small.
playing with these tiny magnets and accidentally swallowing them, which could cause choking.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. They fell off the doll. They didn't stop being magnets. But they're so small that it was probably easy for them to fall off. They could just fall off.
Multiple magnets could stick together inside their stomach, causing serious complications.
Oh my god.
Swallowing a magnet isn't like swallowing a penny because they can wreak havoc inside the body. There were over 170 reports of the small magnets falling from Polly Pocket dolls and accessories. However, Mattel didn't take it seriously until those tiny magnets almost took a life. In
All right, this is kind of morbid, but I'm just imagining the best case scenario here where your child takes a dookie and you just see like miniature arms and legs coming out, you know, in the toilet. I would be mortified as a mother. I'd be like, what the actual...
2006, 3 people swallowed the Polly Pocket's tiny magnets and ended up in the emergency room. Each of them swallowed more than 1 magnet and required surgery. Luckily, all of them survived. After such a close call, the consumer—
Well, I'm glad everyone was okay. Oh yeah, this is Mattel again. Again.
Product Safety Commission ordered Mattel to pull the toy off the shelves. In November 2006, Mattel recalled about 4 million Polly Pocket playsets that had magnets in them. The recall cost Mattel millions of dollars and damaged Polly Pocket's reputation as a safe, child-friendly toy. In 2010, Mattel attempted to relaunch a new line of Polly Pocket toys.
Oh my gosh, the audacity. Yeah, they're eating so many L's, they're taking so many losses, but not nearly as much money as they already have, apparently. Also, why are all of these, like, kids' toys that are banned have to do with either the doll trying to eat the child or the child trying to eat the doll?
But it flopped. It seemed parents could never trust Polly Pocket again. And in 2012, Polly Pockets were discontinued in the US. But the trouble caused by Polly Pockets is nothing compared to our next toy, which led to cuts, broken teeth, and even broken ribs.
What the?
Skydancers. Skydancers.
I loved these things. I had these, okay? I didn't have any of the other ones. I didn't have the Easy Bake Oven. I didn't have the Polly Pockets. I had 3 of these things.
Were like Barbie dolls that could fly. The toy came with a pull string base and a doll with foam wings. When a child pulled the string, the doll would launch into the
I loved Barbie Beyblades that you could launch at people for PvP, okay?
air, spinning its wings like a helicopter as it flew.
Skydancers!
This was the one aggressive female toy that we had, all right? Guys had all of these, like, I don't even know, what were they called? G.I. Joes and stuff with parachutes. We didn't get nothing except for this lady. Her wings were rated E for everyone.
Fly for me, just for me, Skydancers dance for me. Wow, they really fly!
Launched during the 1994 winter holiday season, Skydancers became the #1 doll in over 20 countries around the globe.
Because these were great, man. You could let these girls rip. They could fly up into the sky, bash their head into the ceiling. I think one of mine was like missing part of her head, you know, but she was beautiful either way, you know, flying up and...
Over 30 million dolls were sold, generating over $350 million in sales for Galoob, the company that
Bro, there was a furry one? I never saw that one.
created them. It even inspired an animated TV show in 1996.
Did they smack into each other really hard? Did they start dancing and like backhand the other characters? Like, I'm flying! Sorry, you were in my way.
The fact that Skydancer dolls could fly while other dolls couldn't made it a favorite among little girls. However, the feature that made Skydancers unique was the same one that led to their downfall. To make a Skydancer doll fly, it's inserted into the top of the launcher feet first, and the pull cord is pulled to launch the doll. But there was a problem.
Yes, it's Beyblade Barbie.
with this approach. While launched into the air, the dolls could sometimes fly rapidly in unpredictable directions and hit anyone nearby.
That's the best part. Yeah, that was the best part. If you had 3 friends and you tried to let these guys rip, you would just like go running. You'd be like, I hope mine, you know, smacks into them and I can dodge. You know, I hope I can do like a slow-mo dodge away from the Barbie as it tries to slap its wings into me.
A toy spinning into the air and just going wherever the wind took them.
It's like a female Nerf gun? Not really. I would say this is much more dangerous than a Nerf gun. It's not funny. It's bad.
While the foam wings...
If I would have had parents who would have posted things on the internet, I would be in one of these compilations. Yeah, it's the female nunchuck.
And the dolls provided
Barbie
a limited amount of
nunchucks.
safety. Getting hit in the face by a flying hard plastic doll was dangerous. There were 170 reports of the dolls striking people, resulting in 150 injuries.
See, this is a skill issue, you know.
Flying dolls were...
I'm sorry. Listen, nobody I knew actually got hurt by these. Okay, that's why it's easy for me to joke about. None of us got hurt by the Barbie shurikens. We all just like, you know, one of us I think got hit in the head once, but none of us had to like go to the doctor or anything.
Responsible for facial cuts, broken teeth, and even broken ribs. As more injuries were reported, parents began to complain about the toys, sharing their stories about how their kids got hurt. Consumer safety groups contacted the media to warn others about the dangers of the flying dolls. At some point, the US Consumer Product and Safety Commission thought enough was enough and stepped in. In June 2000, in the face of intense pressure and negative publicity, Galoob was forced to recall the Skydancer dolls after less than 6 years on the market.
You know what's funny? I know some additional knowledge. So what was funny is like when these went off the market, all of a sudden eBay was like trying to sell these at a mock-up. And I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, I have one of these prized possessions, these Barbie weapons. You know, you can't buy them at stores anymore. You gotta look around. You gotta find somebody who knows somebody who has a Barbie Beyblade.
Almost 10 million dolls that sold nationwide were recalled. Galoob announced that consumers should stop using the dolls immediately and call a toll-free number to participate in the recall and get a free replacement toy.
No, I mean, yeah, that's the smart thing to do, definitely.
Calling the Skydancer toys was a financial disaster for the company. But even after pulling the toys, Galoob's problems were still far from over. After the recall, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission slapped Galoob with a $400,000 fine for not reporting the injuries.
I had the blonde one, by the way, chat.
Commission slapped Galoob.
I had that one. The one that first went off.
Slapped Galoob with a $400,000 fine for not reporting the injuries caused by the dolls early enough. At least the bruises caused by the Skydancer dolls could heal. Our next toy didn't just cause injuries, it caused millions of dollars in property damage.
Yeah, so I don't know how it could have hurt somebody's ribs. The only thing I could think of is like if an older sister, okay, went and like aimed this thing at like a 3-year-old or something, right? That's my guess as to how that happened. Because my immediate thought is like if you're under the age of like 4, you're not even gonna be able to like you're not gonna be strong enough to even get this thing to go up in the air. So, I mean, to be fair, when I had one of these, I was like 10, and so were my other friends. So, like, you know, we didn't have any injuries. Not that you couldn't get injured, I guess, if you ripped one of these into someone's eyes or something. But yeah, I think that must be why.
Hoverboards. When a house catches fire, we often think that a stove or faulty wiring is to blame. But between 2015 and 2022, many house fires were started by a toy, specifically a hoverboard. A hoverboard is
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Self-balancing board that makes the rider feel like they're flying. Although
these people still sell these, right?
It looks like the hoverboard is levitating. It uses 2 wheels to get around. Most Americans saw hoverboards in the movie Back to the Future 2.
How is it possible? It's probably because of something inside of it. Like, think about how, like, wasn't it one of the old Samsung phones that the battery was likely to catch on fire? So I'm guessing this is like one of the lines of the products, like, had to be recalled.
He's not a hoverboard!
It was the battery? Ooh, I feel really smart that
Although
I guessed the right
hoverboard in
thing.
the movie was fictional, it left a lasting impression on the audience. Then in 2014, real hoverboards were invented by Shane Chen and went viral on social media.
Ever since celebrities like
I'm just impressed anybody can freaking stand on these and be balanced. Every time I've tried, I've ate it.
Justin Bieber and Kendall Jenner began posting videos of themselves slaloming on hoverboards, they've been flying off the shelves.
It's the must-have gift this holiday season.
I really don't know how people, like, it feels like this is so much more risky than anything else, right? Because it's electric and it has it's not like a scooter or a bike. It's got nothing to hold on to. So I have no idea how people are, I don't know. I wonder how high the injuries are compared to like a skateboard.
Hoverboards.
According to eBay, they're selling one every 12 seconds.
As hoverboards became popular, some Chinese companies saw an opportunity to make a quick buck by creating cheap knockoffs. But
Yeah, they're just Segways with no handles. What could say you can't stand them at all? Yeah, true. I can't stand them even the tiniest bit. I just fly right off of them.
knockoffs weren't just cheap, they were also dangerous. It was a cool evening in Watton, Norfolk. Lucy and Dan Wallace were watching TV in their home, while their 8-year-old son Dylan was asleep in his room upstairs. Suddenly, Lucy and Dan heard a strange sound behind them. Describing the situation, Lucy said, "I heard the hoverboard come on and it banged against the wall in the hall."
Bro, so it was like a phantom hoverboard attack? The hoverboard just started revving up and you know, it was out for blood.
Way behind me twice. Lucy went to check it out. She opened the door and there was a massive amount of flames.
Oh my god, it just set itself on fire randomly? Were they like charging it or something? What the heck?
It turns out their son's hoverboard was charging when it caught on fire.
Yep, there
Lucy
you
and
go.
Dan watched in horror as the
Oh my
first
God.
floor of their family home quickly filled with smoke. Lucy ran upstairs, grabbed their son from his bed, and then carried him back
Jesus.
downstairs out into
When
the garden.
hoverboards
Meanwhile,
attack.
Dan tried to get the burning hoverboard outside. The Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service quickly arrived to put the fire out, and luckily, no one was seriously hurt. But this is just one of the hundreds of
Jesus.
stories involving malfunctioning hoverboards.
It's on fire! Timothy Cade says his hover booster...
You're expecting me to take this serious when that's the start of
malfunctioning
It's on
hoverboards.
fire!
It's on fire! Timothy Cade says his hover booster board burst into flame and the lithium-ion batteries shot out.
From 2015, there were numerous reports of
no.
hoverboards catching on fire, mostly caused by knockoffs. Fires started in many different ways.
I've never heard of any of these. Have you guys? I have never seen a lot of, like, anything about hoverboards catching on fire.
Some hoverboards exploded while charging, others while people were riding them, and
Oh,
some while
no.
the hoverboard wasn't even moving.
It was like a firework, like you just lit a firework. I seen sparks just flying, and before I could yell, the house is on fire. Just the middle part of the board that would go in between your feet.
Oh
just
my God.
went into flames.
By December 2015, there were 12 incidents in the United States where the lithium-ion batteries in hoverboards reportedly caught fire, destroying bedrooms and even entire homes.
That's a lot of cases.
But that number was rising quickly. 7 months later, in July 2016, the US Customer Product Safety Commission updated that number to at least 60 reports of hoverboard fires totaling over $2 million in property damage.
How many, you know, instances have to happen before the company's like, ah, dang it, I guess we gotta recall them?
It's the terrifying moment a hoverboard catches fire inside a house.
In 2022, hoverboards and similar devices
I
caught
can't believe she's like screaming at it and running up to it. Like, no, just stay away from it.
Fire inside a house.
No, don't walk up to, don't touch it with an oven mitt.
In 2022, hoverboards and similar devices caught fire many times, causing 19 fatalities and sending
Oh my God, 19 people? Whoa.
20 people to hospitals in 39 states. So
Oh
why
my.
were these hoverboards suddenly catching fire? Experts believe that the hoverboard fires were caused by the lithium-ion batteries in the device. The liquid
Yeah.
swimming around inside most lithium-ion batteries is highly flammable. Therefore, if the battery
Why did nobody think this out? you know?
Short circuits, the liquid electrolyte can heat up so quickly that the battery explodes. For a while, it seemed like hoverboards would become as common as bicycles. But as videos of hoverboard injuries spread on social media, many places decided to ban them. Hoverboards started disappearing in February 2016 when the US Consumer Product Safety Commission threatened to block imports of hoverboards that don't meet safety standards.
Yeah, that would probably be good. This is still happening with cheap e-bikes? Oof.
A few months later, the commission followed through on that threat, recalling 500,000 hoverboards in the United States. Some cities also banned hoverboards.
Yeah, that'd probably be smart. Just ban them overall so you don't even have to like check whether some of them are good or bad. Oh man, rats, we can't sell our death traps anymore. Yeah, literally.
Even if your scooter is working perfectly well, you can't ride these things everywhere. In New York City, it's illegal to ride them on the sidewalks and the streets.
The US airline industry followed suit. Many airlines have banned hoverboards on flights. Amazon suspended hoverboard sales and demanded vendors to provide documents proving the devices meet safety requirements. The next story is about the disasters that happened when a food company decided to enter the toy business. Burger King Pokeballs. In 1999, millions of kids were excited about the release of a new film, Pokemon: The First Movie.
Is this gonna be like a Pokeball that's small enough that people are gonna try to eat the Pokemons on the inside or something?
Training is over.
Oh.
Kids WB presents Pokemon: The First Movie.
It was a fantasy adventure film based on the widely successful Pokemon games. To boost excitement for the movie, Pokemon teamed up with Burger King for a special promotion, but it would end in catastrophe. This is how the Burger King Pokeball promotion worked. When customers bought a Burger King kids meal, they would find a plastic Pokeball inside the box. The Pokeballs could be opened by pulling the two halves apart, and inside it was a small Pokemon toy.
Now inside every Burger King Big Kids meal you buy, your kids not only get more of the great tasting food they love,
I was gonna say, that toy looks
and
pretty nice. What do they do?
limited edition trading cards from Pokemon: The First Movie.
Burger King offered a set of 59 toys which were inside these round containers.
Now, these are the balls that we're talking about. Some 25 million of them were given out with kids' meals. They were either red and white or hot pink. And when you open them up like this, inside is a Pokemon toy.
However, a problem was looming. Pokeballs could be opened by pulling apart their halves to reveal a toy, but the halves were big enough to cover a child's nose and mouth.
Why would they do that though?
Half of the Pokeball can get stuck on a child's face, making it difficult to breathe.
Oh, so it got stuck. Okay. I'm understanding.
Once you put them up to your mouth and you suck on them, like it kind of like sticks to your mouth, and then you can't get any air, and then you pass away.
In December 1999.
Oh my god, that kid. Oh my god, the way he just, and then you just, become deceased, and that's very unfortunate.
A girl met a tragic end when one half of a Pokeball covered her nose and mouth. 2 days after this incident, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission asked Burger King to recall the balls, but Burger King refused. They stated that they were afraid to create anxiety for parents as it was
we don't want to create anxiety for parents. We're just going to keep them there and hope nobody else suffocates. That should be the best.
Too soon to confirm whether the ball was responsible for the tragic
We can't actually tell if that's what happened. We have to wait.
accident. Burger King said that they were waiting for autopsy results to clarify.
Yeah, they didn't want to claim blame for that ahead of time.
What actually happened. While Burger King was stalling, the balls were still in circulation. Before long, another incident in Kansas would prove just how dangerous the balls were. On December 23rd, it happened again. A girl playing with the ball had a ball half stuck over her face. However, the girl's father was able to pull the ball half from her face before she was injured.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point, Leon. All they really needed to do was put a tiny hole under the ball. They just needed to actually put like a couple holes poked into it, or just put like a warning on the outside, like, hey, tell parents they can't get it for somebody under the age of 4. Like, but instead they're just like, nah, we don't want to take any ownership. We just want to blissfully be unaware unless we absolutely are blamed 110%.
That was it. Burger King agreed to recall the balls and ordered their stores to stop distributing them. On December...
That's how you can tell it's really corporate greed, right? Because they could have avoided this so easily. But the fact that they did not want to come under any heat, have any panic, have anything negatively associated with the company, you know, have any type of blame associated with what happened, they like, oh my God.
27th, Burger King issued a press statement announcing the recall. They also released a PSA telling its customers to throw the ball away or return it in exchange for free french.
Oh, your kid suffocated? I'm so sorry that happened. Have a free French fry on us.
Fries. Posters were distributed to over 8,000 restaurants.
Burger King and the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission want you to know about the voluntary recall of this Pokemon Pokeball.
Children could keep the toy that was inside the Pokeball, but they had to return the ball itself.
Throw the ball away or return it to Burger King.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Hasbro Javelin Darts. Hasbro Javelin...
What? Hasbro had Javelin Darts? What?
Darts, also known as lawn darts or jarts, was a popular game.
Jarts? It sounds like sharts. Like you're sharting your pants.
In the 70s and 80s.
Jarts.
The game involved kids throwing darts at a plastic ring on the ground. If a dart lands inside the ring, the player scores a point.
What if it lands on some unsuspecting younger brother's head? I'm sure that will go well, won't it? I can't think of a single way this could go wrong. Also, the fact that they're playing them, this sounds weird, right? So, like, when you play darts against a wall, obviously I wouldn't recommend this for, like, children either. But what's interesting is they're playing them outside. So the fact that they're, like, throwing them in the wind can, like, blow them other directions would make these dangerous for anyone.
The roots of lawn darts can be traced back to an ancient weapon called the plumbata, used by the Greek and Roman soldiers during.
I had no idea. Is this where the idea for darts came from? I'm learning something today.
Battles, soldiers would throw the plumbata at their enemies in an attempt to injure them.
Weighted throwing darts, known as plumbata.
Oh my God, they're much bigger. Plumbata.
Are known for being one of the most effective missile weapons of the ancient world.
That's a really fun word for something so dangerous.
Fast forward to the 1990s, toy companies decided to reintroduce the plumbata as a game called lawn darts. In the 1970s...
And little did he expect my hidden trump card, my plumbata that I pulled out of my secret pouch.
Many toy companies, including Hasbro, modified the plumbata's design and applied for patents. Despite being a literal weapon of war, toy manufacturers believed that they could make an exciting family lawn game and started marketing.
Why? I really wonder, like, who decided, like, yes, a weapon of war. This will be perfect to make into a kid's game.
Lawn darts as an exciting outdoor game for the whole family. Unfortunately, all hell broke loose when kids got their hands on them.
And let me see if you can hear this. Okay. How can they consider this a toy?
Lawn darts started hurting
Bro is like,
people
hold on, let me try to stab this table as hard as I can.
Soon as they hit the market. In 1970, a tragic lawn dart accident claimed the life of a child who was only 4. When the Consumer Product Safety Commission heard about this, they banned lawn darts that same year. However,
I'm really curious back then, you know, like how we have now, right? Where we have like the debate with children and parents and stuff of like how much is the fault of the toy company and how much is it the fault of the parents who are supposed to be watching what their kids are doing. I wonder if that was a thing back then like it is now when like there's dangerous content that kids watch on like YouTube and stuff.
However, the companies producing lawn darts didn't want them banned. They challenged the ban in court, and after a long legal battle, a compromise was reached in 1976. The ban was lifted on one condition. Lawn darts could no longer be marketed or sold as toys or in toy stores. The commission
Why did there need to be a handshake?
Ruled that every pack must contain the following warning: not a toy for use by children, may cause serious fatal injury, read instructions carefully, keep out of reach of children. By 1977, lawn darts were back in stores, but despite the warning labels, children continued to play with them.
Well, yeah, but like if they said these aren't for children, like are they in trouble now?
1978 and 1986, lawn darts sent 6,100 people to the emergency room. At least
Oh, never mind. Maybe it wasn't just children, right? These are kind of just dangerous in general.
80% of injuries involved kids younger than 15.
Oh, dang. Never mind. Okay.
3 of these injuries were fatal. However, out of all these incidents, one tragedy reminded everyone how dangerous these darts were. In April 1987, a 7-year-old girl in California was playing with her dolls when she was hit by a lawn dart sailing through the air.
Doing what children will do with a lawn dart, they were just winging them. One sailed over a fence, my daughter was in the front, struck her in the head.
Oh,
and
man.
She ran to her mother.
That's rough.
Sadly, she didn't survive. One researcher estimated that the dart hit her with a force of 23,000 pounds of pressure
Holy
per square
crap.
inch. After the loss of his daughter, David
Man,
Snow
that's
started a
sad.
crusade to get lawn darts banned.
Oh, well, this sounds really bad, but I think it's pretty benevolent is the word for deciding to try to make this not something that happens to anyone else's kids.
The warning on the box, it was a 3-foot-high box, and there was a tiny warning on the bottom.
For a year and a half, David Snow lobbied public officials with phone calls and letters trying to get lawn darts completely banned.
Well, wait, like, what did they expect when they got a miniature javelin? It said it went over a fence, though, right? It went over a fence and then hit her in the head. So I don't even know if she was in the yard it was being used in, unless I misheard. Like, what if it's at, like, a neighbor's house, right? It's like, it may not even belong to you. It could be somewhere else and flies over the fence. Yeah, someone else threw it in their yard. See, this is what I mean. Like, it was a complete freak accident, right? Like, obviously, the person didn't know there was a little kid. Well, you know, they weren't planning on hitting that kid on the other edge of the fence.
And he succeeded.
Yeah, they're just
in December
dangerous.
1988, the Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the sale of all outdoor darts in the US. After the ban, the commission sent out a press release pleading for the public to destroy their darts or keep them out of the hands of kids. This was the second time lawn darts were banned, but the dangerous toy still refused to go away. The 1988 ban made lawn darts illegal to sell, but by the mid-90s,
I've never heard of this. I'm sorry. I do think it's really interesting. I never even knew about lawn darts. I was wondering, I was like, man, I've never seen people play lawn darts. Sounds dangerous. I didn't actually realize that, like, this was like a legal thing and that's why you don't see them anymore. And I also didn't realize it took so long just to get them banned. Jeez.
Parents never saw the ban and let their kids play with them. The ban was reissued in 1997 and people were encouraged to destroy the toy. But even
Wow. See, this is something, right? If this happened in this day and age, it's like information spreads so much faster.
after this third ban, vintage sets of lawn darts are still being sold at online auction sites. Incidents with harmful toys remind us to keep a close eye on the kids in our lives. As technology evolves, so should our efforts to protect them, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Trafficking darts.
Wait, before you go, make sure you guys click.
You're not wrong.
Here to subscribe, and then click here to watch my kids games Too Disturbing for Kids video.
This was really good.
The digital version of this one. Thank you guys for everything. Peace.
That was a really good video. This was by Visual Venture. I think we'll have to watch more from them. That was a very interesting video. I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of this stuff can't really happen anymore. So it's kind of just an interesting, like, you know, look into the past of things that, you know, were like what happened before there was regulation and stuff. You know, as much as we say like, oh, it's so much worse now than it was way back in the day, it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, at least to me, I'm happy that I exist in a time where I don't have to worry about these things as much because there's regulation and stuff like not knowing something got banned for being dangerous would never be something that like the public just wouldn't know about. You know, that would spread like so fast. Everybody would know like that day with like social media now. So